Hi, my name's Rich and welcome to video 2 of the Broga Introduction to Yoga course. Again, before we start, have we got everything ready? Do you have your loose clothing on? Do you have your mat out in a quiet space? Do you have your blocks? You'll need these this time as well. Do you have a drink, just in case? Good. If you've got all those, and remember those beers are still chilling in the fridge unless you've drunk them all. So we're going to start lying down. So you might not think lying down is going to do very much for you, but this is the perfect point to find some stillness. It might be your first bit of stillness in the day. Just start to feel a little bit relaxed, let yourself sink into the mat, and try to just notice how you're breathing. Don't change anything about your breathing. Just start to find some stillness. A few things just to contemplate while you're here. Well done for finding your mat. There's a lot of reasons why we put excuses in our day why we don't find our mat. But you've made it. You've got to your mat, and I've never met anyone who would regret practicing. Just plenty of people who regret not. So while we're lying here, just start to notice, how are you feeling? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling energetic? Do you have any little aches, pains, niggles? We all normally do. Try and have a level of acceptance for those little niggles, those aches, those pains. Or if you're feeling tired, it's okay. This is what you've brought to your mat. That will be enough. Make sure in this practice today, you're working within your limits. You know your limits. Always work within them. Now that said, there may be some discomfort as muscles lengthen, particularly muscles we're not used very often, but pain is not okay. If you feel any pain, just stop. Good. So let's just start to notice our breath. There's 3 main rules of breathing in yoga, and although they're rules, I just want you to start to think about them. Firstly, we're going to try breathing in and out through the nose. So that said, we try and keep our mouth closed when we're practicing. The nose is designed for breathing. The mouth isn't. Number 2, try and take full inhales. Typically, we only breathe the top part of our lungs. I want to encourage you to breathe with all of your lungs. Taking big inhales to get as much oxygen in. And number 3, extending the exhale. Really slow the exhale down to tell your body it can relax, it's safe, and muscles will lengthen by themselves as our nervous system will take over. Good. So let's practice how we're going to slow that breathing down. I want to do some counter breathing and just notice what happens, particularly to your fingertips on your tummies. Good. So we're going to take a nice slow inhale to start with. Inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And continue with that breath pattern. Now, if you can't exhale or inhale for a count of 4, that's fine. Just slow it down beyond what you normally do. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now you might notice fingertips are pulling apart slightly as your tummy comes out. Let your tummy come out, it's fine. In doing so, what's happening? The diaphragm is pushing down and your tummy has no room, so it comes out. I encourage this kind of belly breathing, we call it. Good. So let's start getting a little bit of movement. We're We're going to try and breathe like that throughout practice, but again, don't worry if you can't. First off, just gently bring your knees up and bring your knees into your tummy and give yourself a little bit of a hug. Maybe a little rock side to side, just to start massaging the spine. Excellent. Lowering the feet to the floor. Now the second rule of breathing. Typically, we want to inhale when our body moves up and exhale when our body moves down. But again, that's just a rule of thumb. So inhale, we're going to start raising our hips, our lower back, our mid back, to come up onto our shoulder blades ideally, arms relaxed, head relaxed, neck relaxed. Hold, and then slowly lower down in reverse order from the top of the spine all the way to the bottom. Good. Inhale, repeat. Hold. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, last time. Slowly, controlled. Exhale, we lower. Good. Let's bring your knees into the chest again. Another little hug, but this time hands behind your knees. Now we're going to come up to seated. Now you can come up to seated how you wish to, but we're going to try something here called rock and rolls. What we're going to do, we're going to lift our feet up towards our heads, throw them forwards, and you'll come up to seated. We're going to roll down to exercise that spine, gentle massage. If you find this too much, it's fine. Just come up to seated however you wish. Good. So now we're going to take some seated poses. Now for this, you want to be in a comfortable seated position. I sit on a block. Try that. If it works, it tilts the spine a little bit, tilts that pelvis. Alternatively, you can sit on the floor. You can have your legs out straight. Find a position that works for you. So, inhale. We're going to raise our right arm. Left hand just gently on the mat. On the exhale, we're going to gently move, bending, keeping sit bones in contact with the mat. Inhale to rise. Taking it to the other side. Trying not to lean forwards. Keeping those sit bones in contact with the mat or the block. A lateral bend. Good. Arms come down. Now we're going to start twisting our spine a little bit. To do so, we're going to put our left hand onto our right knee. Right hand gently behind. Look forward. Inhale to sit tall. And on the exhale, we're going to twist, starting from the lower spine, through the mid-spine, through the shoulders, and gently through the neck. There should be no tension in our necks. Excellent. Inhale to come through center. Switch to the other sides. Inhale again to sit tall. Exhale to twist. Looking over that shoulder. But again, remember, no tension in the neck. Excellent. Coming back round. We're now going to come onto all fours. So I'll demonstrate this side on. We take what's called a neutral box position. What that means is our hands are shoulder width apart with fingers nicely spread. Hands directly under our shoulders, our knees directly underneath our hips. And then we're going to try and get the movement in our spine between our shoulder blades and our hips. We're not going to try and move our arms or our legs. On the inhale, we're going to lower the belly. The pelvis will tilt forward. We'll be pulling the shoulder blades together, gently raising the gaze. This is called cow position. Going to cat position. We're going to reverse everything we've done. Do the opposite. The head will fall. You'll suck the belly button up. You'll arch the spine. Inhale. We lower the belly, but we raise the head. Good. Exhale. What this does, it opens up the vertebrae, opens up to allow oxygen and blood flow. Starting to exercise that spine, using the muscles all the way down the back and the front of the core. Now continue that for as long as you wish. If you wish to continue longer than I'm doing, feel free to pause the video. Good. From here, taking that neutral spine again, neutral box, maybe bring the knees out a little bit wider. We're going to take what's called child's pose or balasana. Hips are going to come down. Now, if your hips don't have as much flexion as me, that's fine. Your bottom may be up higher. But what we want to be able to do is bring our head down onto the mat. Or, if it doesn't go onto the mat, bring a block towards you and lower your head onto the block. In doing so, your body will feel safe. Your arms can be outstretched. And over time, as we breathe, that slow inhale, that slow exhale, maybe our bottom will go lower towards the feet. And if need be, the block can be adjusted to a different setting. Good. And this is a resting position. I encourage you to take this position whenever you need a rest. It's still an active position. You're getting hip flexion, knee flexion, ankle extension. It works the shoulders, and yet it may feel relaxing. Good. Now from here, we're going to lift up the hips again, removing that block. Hands at shoulder width apart again. And we're going to curl the toes. Now what we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking a position called downward facing dog. Arguably one of the most famous positions in yoga. To do so, we will take an inhale. And on the exhale, raising the hips up and back. Keeping feet hip width apart. Sending the hips towards the back of your mat. Knees can be bent. Heels can be off the floor. It's absolutely fine. This is about spinal extension. It is not about leg stretching. Excellent. And we breathe. Now this may feel a little uncomfortable for you as we start as beginners. And if you do need a rest, feel free. Bring the knees down. Lower your breathing, lower your heart rate. And then when you're ready again, lifting up. Now this also works the wrists. There will be weight on the wrists, although it's equally disproportionate between the feet and the wrists, but maybe clawing at the mat with your fingers will take some of that tension off the wrists. Good. Our final transition of this section of our video, we're going to be walking our hands towards the back of the mat, towards our feet. The heels will come down, the weight comes into our feet, and we'll just hang at the back of the mat in a forward fold. If it's comfortable, hold elbows, or arms can just hang and relax. Take your time. Fingertips will then come up into your hip crease, and we'll inhale to slowly rise at the back of our mat. So let's get moving a bit more in video 2. We're at the back of the mat, so just grab your blocks and we're going to go back to the front of the mat, very similar to we did in video 1. Blocks at the ready. Now you may have an idea where your setting is now. We're going to start this video very similar way to we did the first. Blocks in high, medium or low setting. I was quite comfortable in medium. Let's just leave them there. So they stay there, hip widths apart. And we're going to start this video, as we did the last one, as I said, taking 2 sun salutations just to warm the body up a little bit more. Good. So, don't need to remember everything. I'll talk you through everything, but some of this may start to feel a little bit more familiar. That's what we're aiming for. So, feet hip width apart. Gently looking forward, nice and relaxed. As we'll inhale, chest may rise. We're going to switch those glutes on. Those quads on, feeling strong. Mountain pose, as it indicates. Tadasana, also called. Inhaling to raise the arms. easing off those muscles, bending the knees, sticking the butt out to tilt that pelvis forward. Exhale, we forward fold, slowly, there's no rush. Hands flat on something again, as always, telling the body it's safe. Muscles will naturally start to lengthen. Maybe a little swing side to side, but no hurry with your movements. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, up to fingertips onto blocks, or if you prefer, hands onto shins, gazing forward. Exhale, bending the knees, hands come to the mat, stepping back in one go, or alternatively, bring your knees down first if it's too difficult to step forward or your body just isn't feeling like it. Keeping your hands shoulder width apart, stepping back to the plank as you start to get used to it. Find your balance in plank. Again, be in no rush to leave this. To get your balance, feel strong in the core, and we're going to lower down. So first off, again, like we did last time, lowering the knees, uncurling the toes, and on an exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Inhale, rising up to cobra, elbows bent. See how your back feels. Is this too high? In which case, ease off a little bit. If this feels okay, come a little higher. Start to listen to how your body's feeling. Excellent. Inhale, curl the toes, lower down slightly, and then traveling through the knees, bringing your hands in a little bit closer, uncurling your toes, raising your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now this is your first downward facing dog of this class, so be gentle. Maybe you need to pedal the legs out. Oh, you stretch a leg and bend the other one more generously. How are the legs feeling? How's the back feeling? Remember, this is about spinal extension, not leg stretching so much. You can stretch your legs, but it's not required. Good. Inhale, bending the knees, walking forward, little steps or big steps, coming up onto fingertips, back to the top of the mat. Inhale to rise to halfway. Exhale to fold. Fingertips into hip crease. Inhale to rise. All the way up. Excellent. Let's do this one more time. I'm going to talk less in this one, but we are going to instruct when to inhale and exhale. It will start to become much more familiar. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now notice what I did there. Lifting up, I shortened the downward facing dog. I moved my hands in and walked my feet in slightly. If you have the dog too long, it becomes very uncomfortable on shoulders, on legs, and on the hips. So find a place where it becomes a little bit more comfortable, or at least less uncomfortable. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, slowly rise to finish that sun salutation. Good. If you want to press pause, have a little break, have a little drink, feel free. Excellent. Good. Let's continue. So, we did some leg balancing in the first video. In this one, we're going to continue that. So what we're going to start to do, top of the mat, feet hip width apart. And what we're going to do, we're going to lift the leg. In this case, my right leg. And we're going to hold it and just see how that balance feels. Again, remember that foot will wobble. It naturally does. That standing foot will wobble as you get used to you balancing. Keep breathing. Don't be tempted to hold the breath. Again, if you want to hold a chair or a wall, feel free to reach for another prop. And relax. Good. Now, keeping those feet hip width apart this time, we're going to raise that right knee. And we're going to take a big step back, keeping on the toes of our back foot. Notice my heel is not down. My leg is quite straight. It's called a high lunge. Chest facing towards the top of the mat. We'll inhale. Raise the arms. On the exhale, we're going to bend that front knee directly forwards. If front of the mat is 12 o'clock, it's going towards 12 o'clock. Inhale. We rise up. Easing off that lengthening, easing off that stretch. Exhale. We move forward. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Just bring the hands down into a prayer position. Inhale, ease off. And then all I want you to do, remembering 12 o'clock is directly at the top of the mat. If we imagine a clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I want you to lower that right foot. That heel comes down and inwards. That back foot is now facing at about 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Keeping the chest forward, we're going to take a pose called Warrior One or Virabhadrasana One. Good. Inhale, raising the arms if it's comfortable to, but if it's not, hands in prayer, or frankly, hands by the side. I like my arms raised. Inhale. Exhale, we'll do that same motion. That front knee travels directly forward at 12 o'clock. Keeping the chest forward, the body raised, the back leg straight, and the back foot flat on the floor. Inhale, ease off. Exhale, forward. Inhale, ease off. Exhale, we lengthen. One more time, inhale. And this time, hands are going to come down on the exhale. We're going to frame the front foot. We're going to step back to plank. Looking forward, inhale. Lowering the knees, uncurling the toes. And this time, up until now, we've been lowering our chest between our hands. This time, I like to try something slightly different. Instead of the chest coming down, we're going to keep the bum high and we're going to lower the head down between our hands, like so. Notice the difference? Head coming down between the hands. Up until now, chest has been coming down. So keeping that bottom high, lowering the head, and then not bring the head to the ground. We're going to bring our body forward. Then we're going to rise into cobra. And that's quite a tricky transition. So I'm going to show you that again. So from the plank, lowering the knees, and instead of the chest, we're going to lower the head. Now, if this is uncomfortable in any way, continue just to lower the chest. Find a way that's comfortable for you. But in this case, I'm going to lower the head, elbows bend backwards. I then travel forwards to inhale, back into cobra. Good. Curling the toes, inhale. Exhale. We up our hips towards the back of the room. And I'm going to walk my feet in just to adjust to shorten that downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bending knees, walking towards top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Arms just hang. Fingertips into hip crease. Inhale. Slowly rise. So what we do one side, we have to do the other. So we do that flow again, but lift, starting off by lifting the other leg. So in this case, let's come back to the top of the mat. If you need a quick break, take a quick break. But if you're happy to continue, let's take the other side. So feet hip width apart, as always. Inhale, we're going to lift, this case, the left knee. And we're going to see what the balance is like. Noticing the right foot twitching. Well, there you go, there's a wobble to embrace. And we just rest. Good. Let's try that again. Inhale, lifting that knee, lifting that foot, trying to keep still, maybe focusing on a point that's still in the room. And then we're going to step it back, slowly, controlled, keeping on our toes. Now, ideally, our feet are still hip width apart. So if you can look down at your feet, they should still be, if you like, on train tracks. What you don't want is them too narrow in a straight line, because that makes it really wobbly. Keep them on those train tracks, hip width apart. Good. Inhale, raising the arms this time. Exhale, staying on the toes of the back foot, bending that front knee forwards. Good. Inhale, ease off. Exhale, bending that knee directly forward. Remember, 12 o'clock is the front of the mat. That front knee is moving to 12 o'clock. Inhale, ease off. Inhale, exhale, we lengthen. Now, if at any point your arms become tired, and they do, feel free to have them in prayer or by your side. Inhale, ease off. Now, remembering that clock, 12 o'clock directly forward. Now our back foot is going to lower, heel coming inside. That back foot is facing around about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Depends on your body and its makeup, but it's absolutely fine. If you find it's a little bit more towards 11 or 12 even, feel where it's comfortable for your chest to be facing 12 o'clock. That foot is down, strong straight back leg. Foot stays planted. Inhale, exhale, front knee moves forward to 12 o'clock. Inhale, ease off. Exhale. Inhale, ease off. And exhale. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Now notice, right at the start of these videos, I talked about uniting breath and movement. In all these cases, we're moving as we breathe. Inhale to ease off. Exhale to lengthen. You can do this, or you can stay in a pose and take an extra breath. It will exercise the muscles much more, but in no hurry. You don't have to move on every breath. But trust me, it gets a lot more tiring. So see how you feel. Good. Inhale. Raising the arms this time. And this time maybe there's a little back bend. Gazing forward. Sending the hips forward. Only if the back feels good enough. On the exhale this time, hands coming down to frame the right foot. Turning on the toes of the left foot. Stepping back to plank. Good. We're going to add something in here. So staying from plank, we're going to try and see how it feels to come down onto our forearms. And we're going to breathe. Now if that's too much, absolutely fine. Bring your knees down. If it's not, keep your arms where they are. Keep your knees raised. And then we're going to push back up to plank. A little bit of strength work. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do that again. Down to forearms. Keeping heels towards the back of the mat. Keeping a strong core. Keep breathing. And inhale. Come up. Good. Now we're going to lower as we've done before. Lowering the knees. Uncurling the toes. And remember this time we're going to try and lower the head between the hands, not the chest. Head comes down. Elbows bend backwards. Moving forwards on the inhale. Rising into Cobra or Bhujangasana. Excellent. Curling the toes. Inhaling and exhale. Hips up and back towards the back of the mat. I'm moving my hands back towards my feet to shorten my dog up. Exhale and inhale. Inhale and exhale. Moving our feet towards our hands, fingertips to shins on the inhale. Exhale, we fold. Thumbs or fingertips into hip crease. Inhale to rise. Excellent. Couple of nice flows there, based around warrior one. So in video one, we tried some balances on one leg. I think I mentioned that we were going to try tree pose in video two. Well, this is that moment. So we're using what we did in video one. This time, we're going to build on that pose. So, if you can remember, but you don't need to, frankly, lifting one leg up, and we're going to hold. Again, remember you can always use a chair or a wall. There's no shame in it. Good. And if you need to rest, take a rest. Let's raise that knee up again. And we're going to turn that hip out. Active use of a hip flexor, keeping that leg raised, massively improving the core strength. But this time, we're going to go a step further. Instead of leaving it there, we're going to bring that foot against the leg. Now, that can be against your knee, it can be against your ankle, your calf, your knee, or frankly, as high or as low as comfortable. But what means it's comfortable? First off, I'd like to see that hip turned out with the chest forward. Don't be too tempted in trying to pull that too far out and your whole body twists. I want the chest facing forward. A couple of other things to bear in mind. I want the sense of the foot pushing into the leg pushing into the foot. Equal and opposite forces will cause a lot more solidity. If you wish, you can always grab your ankle and bring it higher up if you've got the knee flexion. I'm personally more comfortable up here, but there's no need to be. Again, I'm more than happy for people to be here and balancing with the foot much lower down. But I'm going to bring my leg up into the thigh, pushing foot into thigh, thigh into foot. Keep that hip out. And we're in Rikshasana or tree. Now remember, trees sway. Yeah, they wobble. So we can wobble. That gives you license, okay? If you want a bit more, you can raise your arms. Again, maybe a bit more of a swaying tree. If you want a bit more, you can raise your gaze. Excellent. And breathe at all times. Do not hold your breath. Never ends well holding your breath. Good. And slowly, in a control way, maybe hands come down to prayer, releasing that foot out, bringing the knee forward, bringing that foot down. By this stage, you will have felt it in your right calf muscle. I certainly am. So we're going to take it to the other side. Let's remember, we need to keep symmetrical. So, you know where you're probably going, but to talk you through it. Inhale, lifting that right leg. Turning that right leg out. Hip opens. Placing the foot against the leg, wherever it naturally falls. Is it the knee? Is it the calf? Is it the ankle? Again, all of those things are fine. Either way, you're always turning that hip out. Keep the chest facing forward, lifting that leg up. I'm going to bring that up high, pushing the foot into the leg into the foot. Now here's my wobbly side, okay? We will always have a wobblier side. Raise the arms if you wish, tree or Rikshasana. And breathe. And maybe raise the gaze, but no need. Again, we come out of the pose or the asana in a controlled way. Inhale, exhale, bring the knee forward, and we lower. Excellent. You've done the full tree pose. So let's start to bring the practice down towards the mat. That's the hardcore part of it done. We're going to ease our way towards relaxation, but let's take some seated poses to do so. So make your way to sit down. Excellent. And we started off, or finished off, sorry, the first video. Knees raised, feet forward, and a forward fold. We're going to do that again. Just on the exhale, folding forward. So your belly comes into your thighs. The back gets a nice curvature to it as we relax. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale to come down. Given we've been stood up and stretching that back, extending the spine, this little curve in the spine will neutralize that. Good. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale to come up. So what we're going to do, we are going to come back up into our feet and we're going to do something called a Malasana squat. Now, you don't need to know too much about what it is at this stage. I'll be guiding you through it, but it's an important, really important little squat position, which will vary a lot person to person depending on ankle flexion, knee flexion, and hip flexion. Now, those three variables give a huge range of different positions that people can get into or can't. So just see where we are. So, what we need to do, come up onto your feet, and you will need your blocks. So, what I recommend, always, blocks in the hands. Now, what we're going to do, feet are kind of, imagine the mat width, feet mat width apart. So I'm just going to turn to the camera to show you, but keeping the feet mat width apart, and the feet kind of splayed out slightly, okay? Notice that if 12 o'clock's directly in front of me, my feet are kind of like 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Good. Then what we're going to do, we're going to lower the bottom, taking a bit of a squat position, and we're going to bring our hands on the blocks down to the mat, all on the exhale. So inhale, stand tall, exhale, bend the knees, send the bottom down, and you're going to bring the blocks in front of you. Now that is a natural place for me to be on blocks. My bum's quite high in the air, that's absolutely fine. If this is where you are today, great. But what we would like to work towards, and there's no hurry to do it today, it can take a long, long while, is that bottom to be able to lower down. So maybe I'm on medium setting, or maybe I'm on low setting. Now alternatively, I've got quite good at ankle flexion. Some of you may not have, in which case you're probably up here with your heels raised, in which case I encourage you to put blocks under your heels just to support your weight a little bit, otherwise your calves will start screaming. Okay, now as it is, my ankle flexion isn't too bad, so I can just use my blocks to come down. Inhale to rise, to ease off, and exhale, we lower. Now over time, I'll show you the traditional pose. You probably not need the blocks. So remember, yoga is a slow game. Progress takes patience, but trust me, it's worth it. Over time, you gain access more to the positions, more to the traditional pose like I am in now. There's no harm in being up here today, and in future, maybe we can get lower. So, we're going to close the session again with some relaxation. We're going to finish off lying down again. So make your way to the mat in a comfortable way and lie down on your back. Okay, we've made it to what's called Shavasana pose. Now Shavasana is a pose where we just surrender. All the hard work is done. It's our time just to find a bit more stillness and relax. You don't need to breathe in a certain way. There's no movement really involved. Just feel heavy. Just sink into the mat, a sense of surrendering to your hard work. Arms traditionally are by your sides or out like this, palms facing forward. But if you're more comfortable, hands on the belly, then do so. I've got my legs out straight, but equally, if your back is a little bit twingy, maybe you raise your knees, maybe pyramid your knees together, lean them against each other. The most important thing in Shavasana is that you feel comfortable to relax and just be. Traditionally, the actual definition of Shavasana is actually corpse pose. So don't try and stay here too long, but just relax. Inevitably, you will have some thoughts come across your mind, little invasive thoughts, maybe about what you've got to do next. Try to avoid it, but frankly, it's impossible. So instead of try to avoid, just let them flow by you. Try not to hold on to them. Try not to judge them as good thoughts or bad thoughts. Imagine those thoughts on a river just flowing by, and sink into your relaxation, which you have earned. You will now just hear some music as we give you a chance to find that stillness and have a moment of relaxation. So, to slowly awaken ourselves, introduce some small movements to fingertips, to toes. Maybe windscreen wipe your feet, maybe raise the knees. Listen to your body. Does your body feel like it needs something? There's no hurry to come out of Shavasana. It's your practice after all. Maybe you need a little knee hug. Started. Little roll side to side. Slowly, in your own time, make your way to a seated position. You can do the rock and rolls like we did at the start, but frankly, come up to it in any way. Maybe rolling onto your side, pushing yourself up and coming to a seated position just to finish practice. In doing so, I'd just like to commend you on your effort in this class. Thank you for letting me guide you. I like to use the word guide rather than teach. It's your practice. I'm merely showing you the signposts of it. I've thoroughly enjoyed guiding you. So until maybe next time, if you'd like to join me, hands into the chest. Namaste, gents. Namaste. And now the most important bit. You've deserved that well-earned cold beer. Namaste once again.